Hi, my crafty creator. Hi, my crafty creator friends. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty. Hopefully you can hear me now. Apparently I had no audio going, so I am talking away and no one can hear me. So I think I've gotten that fixed. If you can hear me, give me the thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate that. So a couple things to get us started. I'm really excited today. I've got some new products to share with you, and I have a great project in store for us, I think. So first, let's get some housekeeping items out of the way. And first thing, if you see that red, whoops, if I can find it, red live button up there, you're catching us live. Welcome. No worries though, if you don't see that live button, just hit hashtag replay, and I would love to say hello to you and let you know that I'm glad to see you watching the replay. A few other things. We're located here in the Town Square Mall in Port Orchard, Washington. We have a brick and mortar store here. My name's Christy Powers, and I'm the owner of Uncommon Necessities. And our shop hours are Thursday through Sunday. Thursday through Saturday, we have hours from 10 to 6, and then Sunday 10 to 5. I'm glad you guys could join me today. So welcome, come on in. Let's get the excitement going and get things going here. I am so excited to share some new products with you. I want to hear your feedback and if this is something you would be interested in, me bringing into our shop. So come on in. I'm hoping everybody's having a great Saturday so far. I know it's kind of misty and rainy out, so it's a perfect day to do some projects and crafting. So welcome, welcome. Come on in. Hopefully you can hear me now. I had a little bit of a hiccup. Hopefully it's all good. Oh, yep. My wonderful assistant says he can hear me now loud and clear. I don't know. Sometimes that's a blessing. Sometimes it may not be. But as long as you guys can hear me, that's great. I'll have you take this lovely assistant and this. Oh, I actually need that. So let me push it over here when I need it. Okay. All right, my friends, come on in. Come on in. We'll give it a few minutes for our friends to join. I hope everybody had a great holiday. I know that we did a great project last weekend. It was a lot of fun. Did a couple of different paint techniques. And so that was awesome. I have another project that I have finished that we're going to do together today. And it's using our products in a little bit of a different way. Hi, Miss Melissa. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad you could join. Hello, hello. I have some fun in store for us today. Some new products and using our current products in maybe a little different way than you would think. So I'm pretty excited to share that. Are you having a good day, Miss Melissa? I hope you're having a good Saturday. We'll give it another minute or so for our other friends to join. Some really good things happening. So we've got some things that we're planning to start doing this summer. So stay tuned. There's some exciting, fun things that are going to be happening here at Uncommon Necessities. Having a good day. Oh, I'm so glad, Miss Melissa. That's great. It's nothing like having a good Saturday. Good Saturday. Our Saturday's been pretty good here too, but like I was mentioning, there's going to be some new exciting things coming for our shop. So stay tuned in the spring and summer. And so that'll be great. So I'm looking forward to that. So some new things to offer and some new fun to have. Hi, Kendra. That's my daughter, everyone. Hello, Miss Kendra. Glad you can join. Okay, let me get us started because I have a lot to share and I don't want to keep you all evening. Although I enjoy keeping on crafting, so I can do this for a very long time, but I don't want to keep you guys forever. So let's get us started. So I have done some research and wanted to see about bringing in to our shop stenciling. We currently have stencils where you can lay on a piece of furniture and you can stencil on, or lay on wood and stencil on. But they didn't really lend themselves easily to either smaller projects or fabric, ceramic, those kinds of things. So what I found was a great company. It's called the Maker Studio, and they offer some pretty cool stencils, and these are mesh stencils. So I don't know if you can see this. Let me scooch back a little bit. So this is one of their mesh stencils. You could probably see how big. I mean, they're good size. So each of these, wherever you see the white lines, you can cut them apart. So they come as one sheet, and then you cut them apart to be able to use them on smaller projects. So in store, what I have, and I want to really kind of gauge interest in these, is I have 3 to start. So we have the coffee bar one. We have the welcome spring. Look at all these cute things. Look at all these cute things. Flowers and grow and bicycle and flower market. How fun. And then I love bees. Look at this. Be kind. The honeycomb. My personal favorite, the queen bee. I love that. So cute. So these are silkscreen mesh stencils. What's nice about these stencils is that you can use them on a variety of surfaces. So you can use them on wood, you can use them on ceramic, you can use them on textiles. So you can use them on clothing or cloth. And that's what I really liked about it was if you've been in the shop, I carry products that you can use in more than one way. It's not just one type of thing. It's how can you use it in multiple different ways. And so these mesh stencils, so let's say you want to make a sign using a piece of wood. I have a couple of different colors now in the chalk art. And so we would use chalk art to make this on wood. But what I thought was really the thing that was the neatest is they carry paints that you can use on ceramic. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but these are ceramic paints. And this is the gold. This is a green. So I only have a few of these items in shop. If you guys are really interested in them, I'll bring in some more. I'm going to get a few more things and we'll just kind of see how it goes. This is green and then this is black. Now what's nice about these ceramic paints is you don't have to bake them. So you can stencil on a coffee cup or a plate your image, let it dry 24 to 48 hours, and it's permanently on there. And so that's what I liked about it. You don't have to bake it. It's food safe. It's really good. Now, so that's what I loved about these. Now they do have ink, which I'm going to start bringing into the store, that would allow you to put it on fabric. So if you wanted to create a t-shirt using this welcome spring, you would use their ink in the mesh, you know, over the mesh on your t-shirt, and then you would just heat set it. So what's awesome is you can use this stencil to create on ceramic, you can use it to create on fabric, and you can use it to create on wood or things like that. What do you guys think so far? Does this sound like something you guys would be interested in using? What are your thoughts? I really want to hear what your thoughts are on that. I do want to show you, I tested it out to see kind of what it looked like, right? And how did it work? My test was really around ceramics. I really wanted to see how does this work on ceramics. So I did a couple of coffee cups. Isn't it exciting? It's so much fun. It's a different thing for us to create with, a different medium. So I did a coffee cup, and this is one of their flower stencils. And this is just the black ceramic paint. And as you can see, it's on there. It's not coming off. So I don't know, but look at the detail in that. Isn't that awesome? One of the other things that's kind of cool is you see how there's a lot of space on the flower. So say you didn't want to just have a flower outlined in black. You can take the ceramic paint and actually brush it with a paintbrush on the petals or on the leaves, and you can color it in to whatever color you want. I mean, and then just let it dry 24 to 48 hours, and it's on that mug. It's not coming off. So here's another one I did. This one is from the coffee bar. Now remember, these are kind of my test ones, so they may not be perfect, but they're my test ones. No coffee, no worky. I love that one. Look at that. And it's on there. It's not coming off. Here's another one from the spring one. There's the rose. You could certainly, you know, fill that in with whatever color ceramic paint you wanted and have a beautiful rose on your coffee cup. So I thought those are great. Aw, thanks, Miss Melissa. You're so sweet. Now, that's fine and dandy on the colored kind of coffee mugs, right? But what about jars, mason jars, other types of jars that are clear? I wanted to see how they would work for that. So here was a clear kind of mug. And, oops, here's a clear mug. Here's the queen bee I did in gold on this mug. I know it's not real clear, but left or right-handed. That's right. I am going to create some of these, and I'm going to make sure I will get some really nice mugs, and we'll create some that I create for the right-handers and for the left-handers. So we'll have some right and left-handed coffee mugs. Isn't that cool? We want to make sure we include everyone in the fun. So anyways, this is the bee, the queen bee that I did. But even better than that, I found some of these jars, and I did the bee on this jar. And I did the bee in black, and then I did the crown in gold. And it's on there. I mean, isn't that awesome? So this would be a cute, like, little tea bag holder, maybe, or a honey holder for your tea, or something like that. I mean, wouldn't that be a cute little gift for someone? Or yourself. Or yourself. Now, I thought this was really cute. So what I did was I only used half of one of the stencils. So I used the wording, and I didn't stencil the rest of it. And you can do that. And I stenciled this on there. You are the bee's knee. So I did it in black, and then I did it in gold. And it's on there as well. So I'm pretty excited because I think this is going to be a lot of fun, adding to our expanding, right? Expanding what we're able to use and create with, and giving options for different things that you might want to create. So pretty excited about that. So look to see that I'm going to start carrying that line in our shop, along with, I will get the inks so we can do the inks on tea towels, cotton bags, t-shirts, right? So a lot of fun to come with that. So, and then you use, all you do is, and we'll do this as a live, don't worry, we'll go over it as a live and we can do it together. And then you just use one of these little squeegee things to put the ink and the chalk on. I just wanted to show you really super fast how easy it is to put a stencil on a cup. So here's one of the stencils from the spring, and I just cut it out. Now you can see I've used it. They're super easy to clean up too. All you do is peel it off the paper, paper backing. So you just peel it off the paper backing. It looks like this. Now with some other stencil companies, you have to fuzz it and all of that. You don't have to do that with these. These are ready to go. You would just take your coffee mug or whatever you wanted to put it on. I don't know how I can do this. Let me do it this way. You just put it on your coffee mug wherever you want it. You just lay it on there. And then you just lay it on here wherever you might want it. And of course, you know, I'm doing this a little backwards, but you just lay it right on. Smooth it right on there. And then all you would do is dip your little squeegee thing in your paint, and you just squeegee it right on. That's it. And as soon as you do it, because you got to work kind of quick because you don't want it to dry with the stencil on, as soon as you put that on, you peel the stencil off, and then you have your image. You drop the stencil in some water, and when you're all done with everything, you can clean it off with soap and water. And that's it. That's how easy it is. So look for some fun to come with working with those. I'm really excited about that. For Papa, yes, left-handed for Papa. Yeah. All right, friends. So I was so excited to share that with you guys today because I'm just like, I can't stand it. These are so much fun. Okay. What I wanted to do today together is work with some products that are different, a different way to use chalk paint. You know, we think of chalk paint as we want to upcycle furniture or create a picture or something like that. But I wanted to use it as a kind of a watercolor medium. And if Papa can hand me my red, my pink off of there, that would be great. So what I did was I created this picture. Let me show you. Using our Iron Orchid Design peony stamp and our Iron Orchid Design alphabet mold and our small picture frame mold as well for clay. So these are made out of clay, these items. And then the stamp, which is what you see here and here for the leaf, is stamped in black. And then I watercolored it in with the Dixie Belle chalk paint. So you can see it gives it a much softer kind of look, watercolor. And then what I did was I white waxed the whole thing. So I'm going to show you how to turn your chalk paint into a watercolor paint set for you. Okay. I hope you guys love it. So let me show you the items that we're going to use today. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you is, hang on, let me get myself a little organized here, is we have 2 sets of stamps and we have a large alphabet stamp in Iron Orchid Design. This one is the chrysanthemums, which I can never say, that will give you that outline black image or whatever color you use. And then you can use your paints to watercolor or paint in whatever you want it to be. So it's really great to be able to add your color choices to these stamps. So So that's the first one. The one we're going to use today is called Peony. And you can see all of these gorgeous peonies. Look how big these are. It's beautiful. We're going to use that. The other thing that we do carry that allows you to color in and add your own colors to it is this Winter Song Wreath Transfer. So it's basically an outline. And then you get to color in whatever colors you choose for your design to be. So that's really awesome.
Restart.
Yeah. So what we're using today is we're going to use the Iron Orchid design, and we're going to use this small little frame here, and we're going to use our Iron Orchid design clay, air dry clay. We're going to use this stamp set, which is called Harper, and it is all my little alphabet letters, and we'll do this in clay as well. Here is the clay, air dry clay. Now we're going to do our outline in black today, but what you can do is we do have a selection of different colors of inks. So we have ink pads, Iron Orchid design ink pads, but we also have different colors. So if you want your outlines of your items to be blue, we have Oceans Deep and China Blues. So we have options for blues. Then we also have the Tomato Red. And then we have this beautiful turmeric color. So a golden yellow. So those are great to give you different options if you don't want to use the black as the outline. The other thing I used was the white wax from Dixie Belle. And the paint colors that we're going to use today are going to be Honky Tonk Red from Dixie Belle. Excuse my paint jars, they're messy. And we're going to use, this one's really messy, sorry friends. We're going to use the Soft Pink from Dixie Belle. As you can tell, I'm a messy painter because look at my paint jar. Oh. Don't be like me, friends. Don't be like me. I'm messy. I am messy. But all I did was take, let me get these out of the bags here. All I did to create my watercolors is I took one or two little, and I used one of these long craft sticks, and all I would do is take like one or two craft sticks full of paint, so like about like that much. Okay, you don't need much because you're going to make it a watercolor, and add it, put it in a container, and then add water to it. So you really thin down the paint. So this is the water and paint I created earlier. So I'm just going to stir it up and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the soft pink. And Greg, if you would be so kind as to, oh, the other thing I forgot to tell you was my boards. What I base coated my boards in was the White Magic Voodoo Wood Stain, because I wanted to have that same kind of watercolor feel as the base coat. So I used that. If you'd be so kind as to putting my camera down, okay, that would be lovely. Okay. So let me get this up here. So all I'm doing now is stirring the paint into the water. Okay, just mixing that up. And it doesn't take much. It's just a little bit of mixing and it thins right down because chalk paint is water-based. And so now you'll see that my chalk paint, oh, as I'm spilling it everywhere. Oh, spilling it. Okay, you'll see how thin that is now. See, it's just like water. It just drips. That's what we want. We want it to be really thin. Now, when you do that, it gives it that more transparent kind of color, right? So it's not a solid color. So here's, I have red and water. So I only have like 1 or 2 of those dips of paint in there. And then I have about a 1/2 to 3/4 cup of water. And I'll just stir this up real good. So I chose pink and red as my colors to do for my peony. And let me stir that up. And you're going to want to keep your craft stick nearby, because as it sits, it does separate. So you need to kind of stir as you go. All right. So I went ahead and did the Voodoo White Magic on this. This is a 12 by 12 board, so you can see how big this stamp is. And I went ahead and did the large peony stamp on here. So I gave it some time to dry, because that is one thing you want to do, is you want to make sure that you give your stamp time to dry, because it is also water-based, before you start doing the watercolor. So I would give it a good few hours, if not 24 hours, before you actually do your watercolor on the inside. But we're going to kind of hurry things along, because I want to add on the bottom down here, I do want to add one more stamp, and it's going to be the leaf, because I do want a little bit of green on here. So let me pull this leaf off and see if I can get it to be where I would like it to be. We'll see. And I want to fit this leaf in kind of something like that. So because this stamp, if you see, goes over my picture, I'm choosing not to use that portion of my stamp. So there's a couple ways you can handle that. You can handle it by putting some tape. I don't have a lot of tape right here, but let's see if this will work. You can handle not using that portion of the stamp you don't want to use by putting tape over it, so when you put paint or when you put the ink down, it'll protect it from getting onto that portion of the stamp you don't want to use. So let me get my little sheet right here, and we'll put our stamp on it. I'm going to get my stamping pad, and we're going to stamp this up. And watercolor is so easy because you can't mess it up. You can't mess up watercolor. It's so easy to use. So I want to make sure I get the ink off where I don't want it. And you know what I just realized? Okay. All right. Now, let me place this stamp down where I want it to go. And I'm not sure. Let me see. Let's do right over here. And I'm going to place it right there next to my flower. Okay. And all you do is, once you ink your stamp up, is press it down once you have it in position to make sure you got good contact all over. All right, lift it up. And there's my leaf. That easy. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, I'm still wearing the Santa. I love my Santa. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me aim this down just a little bit further. There we go. I do love my Santa. He is gorgeous. Okay. So now let's start working on the painting. We will be adding clay to this, but I kind of want to do that at the end once I've got my painting done. So we'll start with the painting. Now, When I think of a peony, now you can do it totally however you would like. When I think of a peony, I really want those outer edges, as you can see in this one. I want the outer edges to be darker and the inside of the petals lighter. So on the outer edges, I'm going to use that red. On the inner part, I'm going to use that light pink. Now you can do it however you like. It's totally up to you because the watercolor is however you would like it to be. There is no right or wrong reason to any of it. So let me grab a brush here and we'll get to watercoloring. So I'm going to start with the red because I'm going to start from the edges and work my way in. So let me stir this up a little bit. Set it aside. My little craft stick. Can you give me a paper towel?
Oh. I gotta hang your paper towel out.
Yeah. I didn't bring you my paper towels over here, friends. Okay. I need paper towels. I always think I'm ready to go. I get everything prepped and then nope, I missed something. But it's all good. Okay. So I'm going to start up here at the top. This petal to me looks like it's falling over. So to me, that's going to be a little bit of a darker petal. So I'm going to make that more red. So when I dip my brush in, and I'm just using a regular paintbrush, can you see how light that red color is on my paintbrush? It's pretty light, right? So once you put it down on the board, look how pretty that comes out. And if you go over the black, because you let it sit, the black sit and dry, it's going to be okay. You're not going to smear your black ink because you've let your ink dry. So it gives you a great image to be able to color in and to color. It's kind of like creating a coloring page on a piece of wood. So you can fill it in wherever you would like it. So I'm going to do that. Dip my paintbrush in some more. Now, the other thing that's neat about the watercolor effect is you can make it as dark of a watercolor look as you would like by letting the color dry a little bit. So by letting this dry a little bit as we're working on another piece, I can come back and add even more color to it. So if you don't like the shade it is, you can add more color. And you can also, because it's water, erase some of the color if you don't like it. So I thought this was a fun and a different way to use our Dixie Belle chalk paints. Creating a watercolor to fill in our pretty peony. What do you guys think? Do you like this idea? And you don't have to be perfect. And as a matter of fact, if you want to be a little bit abstract, you can, if you look at other types of pictures, you can actually just take your brush and color the whole section and give it an abstract kind of look. So you don't even have to do the leaves individually. You could just paint blocks of color, if that makes sense. So now that we've got some of this red down, let's go in and put some pink down. So let me stir my pink up a little bit. Get that good and mixed up. And then all I'm going to do again is see how light that is on your paintbrush. Is I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to put it in wherever I want that pink, that nice lighter pink color. Now you see it kind of mixes with the red a little bit, and I'm okay with that. because that's what kind of gives the colors to blend, is that mixing. So I'm just kind of scooping that little bit of water out and then adding it into my project. Scooping it out and then adding it in. And this is what gives you those watercolor type edges. Now, if you find that you've got too sharp of an edge and it doesn't look like it's really blending well, just take your paintbrush with some water on it and kind of just rub it, and it'll get that hard edge out. So I can keep going in and putting in as much lighter color as I want, and then you'll see once we dry this up how beautiful it looks. We'll do a couple more little spots here. Thanks, Miss Melissa. Isn't this fun? It's so relaxing. You can just sit and paint, and you can go over the black. It's just so relaxing. And you don't have to be perfect. Watercolor's not about being perfect. And then, like I said, if you leave like that much in water on there, that's fine. What it'll do is it'll dry a little darker, right, with the color, because you have more pigment there. The more watery look it has, the thinner it will be. So that will be thinner. This will be darker. And so wherever you want it darker, you just go in and add more of your color. And it looks like that you might have little puddles of paint on your board. It's no worries. It will dry and it'll look amazing. Okay, let me add some pink into this one. Now I tend to like to wait or add my pink or my lighter shade right in, because I'll show you here in a second. It mixes right into that red color and gives your edges this beautiful kind of almost like a tie-dye effect. So let me show you here. Let me put this in, and I'm just painting that on. Let me see if I can get this camera just a little bit closer down. I don't know if you can see that, but let me hold it up. You see how it gives that kind of swirled, all those different pretty colors mixing together in different ways? Isn't that beautiful? So you can see that this is already drying, and I want my edges even a little bit darker. So all I would do is go back in with my brush with the red, and I would just make this as dark as I would like it to be. And just add in those colors to be what I want them to be. And see, there's not any real magic to it. You're just coloring the way you would like it to be. And then we'll dry this up, and so you can see what it looks like all dried. And I want to show you the leaves a little bit too. So I'm not going to be able to get this whole thing finished today for us, friends, but I will continue to work on the coloring so you can see it all done. So let me let me not dry this up. Oh, it helps if I plug it in, friends. It really does. Okay, so if you're going to dry it fast like this, it also moves the paint around, so you do have to be aware of that. So I hope everybody's having a great Saturday. I know Melissa said she was having a good day. I hope everyone else is having a great day. I know it's kind of icky outside, but it's a great day to be doing crafts, that's for sure. I love doing crafts on those rainy, cooler evenings and days. It's so fun. It's a great way to relax. Yes, Greg has been busy. So what we've been doing at the shop today and the last couple of days is, well, Greg's been doing inventory the last couple of days, but today I took down Christmas. So all of Christmas is now down in the shop, and I've started to put up spring. So that's been a lot of good heavy work to get all that done. But Christmas is now down, which is so sad. Christmas is over, and we're in a new year, so we've been doing a lot of work here at the shop. Now, what's great about watercolor is, especially with flowers, is it's organic, right? It doesn't look, you don't have to make it look like straight lines and perfect and all of that, because when you're doing flowers and things like that, all flowers are different. So then your watercolor can really be whatever you want it to be. So let me show you this. Now it's dried. And look how beautiful that is. That is taking Dixie Belle chalk paint, thinning it down, and creating a watercolor out of it. Isn't that beautiful? And there's so much depth and dimension in it. And you don't have to be a master artist to do that. Super easy, friends. Super easy and fun. All right, let's set these two colors aside. Now, I usually pick, when you're looking at what colors do you want to use, you want to make sure that you're picking colors that are complementary to each other. You don't want to do a blue outline with a yellow inside, right, together, because what you're going to end up is with green, right? So you have to be conscious about when those colors mix, do they give you a different color, and what does that look like? So think about that when you're doing your watercolor. And the leaf is the same exact way. So I have two shades of green that I've mixed together here. And you can put your watercolors in jars, or like I did, I just have them in a plastic cup and I put them into a Ziploc baggie, and they've kept wonderfully. They are perfect. Had no trouble at all with that. So you don't have to worry about wasting either. So you can make as much or as little of the watercolor as you want. You just want to use, I would say it's like 1 to 10, I guess. Like 1 teaspoon of paint to maybe 10 teaspoons of water. You just really want baby food jars, yes. I know, right? It's just using the product in a different way. Isn't that great, Kendra? It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. So I have 2 shades of green. Let me just stir them up real good here. And then let me show you how I paint the leaf. Because again, it's a matter of how do you want it to look. And if you think about it, when you're looking at flowers or anything, look at the way that light hits it, right? And where would you see those lighter shades and where would you see those darker shades? So let me show you what it looks like to paint the leaf. So again, all I'm taking is my darker shade of paint, and I'm going to paint along those edges, not being real careful about, you know, the black spot. And I'm just going to kind of go around my leaf here and put in that darker color. That's all I'm doing, is adding this darker color in. And you're just painting it on. And if it goes a little over edge, that is fine. Watercolor is, that is something you can do with watercolor. It looks great. It doesn't cause any big obvious like, oh my goodness, you've made a mistake. No, not at all. It looks like it's part of it. So then I just go in with this little bit of lighter color. I'm just going to put it right here in the center. And you can see, you can either do the individual areas and outline the whole thing in the darker color, or you can do what I just did. And I'm looking at it as a whole object and choosing where I'm going to shade it in. So I am just putting this where I want that lighter color to be. And remember, the more you, oh, I got a couple of little weird chunks here. And just remember, where you want it to be heavier pigmented, you're going to want to make it, you're going to want to put more down to give it a darker look. Okay, so let me dry that up and show you that. Rip. And then once you dry it and you decide, oh gosh, I really don't like how it's turned out, you can go in and add more pigment, make it a different color, whatever you would like. If you want it lighter or darker, you can do that. Now with my heat gun, I'm kind of moving the paint around a little bit. So what I did with the other one is I let it dry on its own. I didn't use the heat gun. I just let it sit and dry. So I wasn't pushing the ink or pushing the paint around where I didn't maybe want it. But I just wanted to be able to show you the different variations in color that you can get by using the chalk paint in a watercolor fashion. Now you can see that it got kind of splotchy, and I'm not really a fan of that. So I'm going to take my water brush, my brush with some water on it, and I'm just going to go in and kind of give it a good rub with my brush. And I can lighten up those really heavy, darker areas by just adding more water to the paint and kind of rubbing it a little bit. So you can see how you can kind of clean up whatever spots you're not happy with. Now, part of it is because I didn't mix my chalk paint up real good. So that you got to make sure you do that. But just, and so the pigment got a little heavier here, which is fine. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more pigment to it, or a little bit more paint to get it down where I want it to be. And so you just go back in and you just add in what you want. That's the beauty of this. And each time what you're doing is you're adding dimension, right? You're adding depth, because it's giving your painting a little bit of a different feel with each layer you lay down. Oh, I think I broke my heat gun again. I did. We'll give that a minute to cool. Okay, so let me move that off to the side. All right. So we have our painting. Let's say our painting is done. What I did add is, because I thought it would be kind of fun to add just a little word. And so I'm going to put peony down. But let's create our little picture frame. And the reason I liked the little picture frame was, to me, I like mixed media. So I like to have different layers of textures and items when I create. And so, perfect. If you want to lay that right down here, that'll be perfect. Thank you. So let's do our little frames mold right here. And I'm going to use this little pretty one that I used on the other one. And with our molds, all you have to do is put some cornstarch down. Super, super easy. Lots of fun. Put some cornstarch down, get it good and covered. Tip it out. Oh my gosh, friends. Is everybody hanging in there with me? Is everybody still here? It's just so much fun to do things in a little different way. And what do you guys think of the watercolor? Do you like the watercolor idea? Okay, thank you. Oh, Kendra loves it. Oh, great. Good, good. It's just another way to do things. Always trying new things. Never be afraid to try new things. You never know how they're going to turn out. They may be fabulous. Fabulous. Could be an epic fail, but they could also be the best thing you've ever created. So always be willing to try. All right, so now I'm just pushing my air dry clay down into my mold. I'm going to take it and take off the excess, and I'm just working against the edge. That's what's neat about these molds, is they have a little edge on each of the designs that allows you to get that clay and pull it right off. Now, could you create this in resin? Absolutely. Fast set resin, as long as you have a flat surface, you're going to be fine to use a resin. So you could use a resin frame. So if you decided to do this in resin, it would work out well because you're doing it on a flat board. So now let me just push my clay back into my spots here. Make sure it's all good in there. Get the rest of this excess off. Air dry clay, you want to make sure that you keep in a sealed container because it will dry out on you. And so as soon as you're done filling your clay mold, you want to make sure that you put the excess right back into your sealed container. So that way you don't have to worry about your clay drying out on you. But if it does, you can add a little damp towel in there and help give it moisture back. But you can usually kind of revive it. All right. Okay. Now let's take our mold out here. So all we do is flip it over, and then we just start rolling back the corner. Yeah. Start rolling it back, and then you can see that the mold is starting to release, and you just gently use your finger to kind of help move it along. And then there we go. We have our picture frame. All right. Okay, so now we have our little picture frame that I just turned over, and there we go. Make sure I get it back down again. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to take and glue this on, And I think I'm going to do it right here. I think I would like it right there. And to me, this just gives you just another element of interest, right? You don't have to add this. It's not a requirement. But to me, it just gives you another area of interest to look at when you're looking at your project. So I'm just taking this Titebond Quick and Thick glue, which is great. Works on just about every surface. It's awesome for this air dry clay. And I'm just adding it onto the back of my mold, making sure I get to the edge. It does dry clear, so if you get a little too much glue and it comes out the edge, don't worry, it will dry clear. But you want to make sure you have a good amount on there so it's really adheres to your project. So we got a nice thick coat, and now I'm going to try and flip this over and put this down. Now I did kind of smush it when I dropped it, but hopefully it'll come out good. I think we'll be just fine. Okay. Perfect. So we're going to make sure we get all the edges pressed down real good on the side, being careful that you're not pushing too hard on your mold, because you don't want to destroy your the way it looks. So let's make sure we get it down and good. Okay, now, whoops, sorry about that, friends. I moved the whole table. Now, what I did on this picture frame was I took decoupage paper and I laid down something that kind of related to this. And so I don't know if you can see it very well because I put some shiny glitter over it. Oh, my dryer's working. It's on. It came on all by itself. All right. Okay. But what I was saying was I put down a piece of decoupage paper. Let me get it real close. And you can kind of see it, but they're little birds sitting on a branch. And so it does kind of go with the flower theme. And then I put a little sparkle on there just because I wanted a little sparkle. But so once this dries, we'll put a piece of decoupage or a piece of transfer down and create us a little picture right here. Let me show you this leaf up close. So you see how you have the different, it looks like layering, right? So you layer all the different colors on. So you have a darker and a lighter. It really comes out really beautiful. Okay. Now we got that on. So when I use my letter mold, I fill it up with my clay for what I want it for, but then I put it in the freezer and let it get good and frozen. And the reason is because it's easier to get the letters out when they're frozen than when they're not. So now this has been out of the freezer just a few minutes. I'll start to roll back my letters and pop them out. Let's see which way is going to be easiest. And we're going to cross our fingers and see if they come out all in one piece. I'm hoping so. The letters are a little bit more finicky, so that's why it's a little bit more of a challenge to get them out. And I find it's much easier if I use it by putting them in the freezer. And then they thaw out and dry out just like they would if you had just put them straight on. Voila! They all stayed together. So can you see? It just makes it so much easier. So now what I'm going to do is take my brush And I'm going to put some glue on the back of these. Whoopsie, as it's spitting at me. And I'm going to put the word peony. Now, the other one I use the word spring, but I want to be able to keep this up year round. And so I thought, well, let's just put what the flower is. It's a peony, so we'll just put the word peony at the bottom. Now you have to be really careful when you put glue on the letters, just because they are a little bit more delicate. Ah, get up there. Okay. And I'm going to put the word peony right down here at the bottom. Now, hopefully I spelled it right. I don't know. I'm not a real good speller, so y'all let me know if I didn't do it, if I didn't spell it right. So we're going to do Peony. And sorry, I'm concentrating. I don't want to break my E. Okay. So far, we're doing good. So far, we're doing good. Yeah, if you ever have difficulty with your molds, especially if there's intricate design, just pop them in the freezer for 15, 30 minutes, and then you can use them. If you ever have a time where, gosh, you don't have time to actually put your clay and you've already put it in the mold, it can stay in the freezer by putting it in baggie. You know, cover this with plastic with your clay in it, put it in the freezer, and you can leave it in there for a couple of days. So it really does do well being in the freezer, and is fine. It doesn't hurt it at all, and it just makes it easier for you to get those shapes out of your mold in one piece. I got a little extra glue, so I'm going to wipe a little bit of that up. It does dry clear, so I'm not going to be too worried about a lot of that extra. It'll be fine. But like the snowflake molds for this Christmas, they were pretty intricate. I did pop those in the freezer as well to demold those. But otherwise, here we go. Almost got it on there. Whoop. Okay. Sometimes this is where you'd like to have 5 hands. So we're just going to put it on. And now some people say, I don't know what the right way is. Some people say peony and some people say peony. Does anybody know if there is a right or wrong way to say that? Or is it kind of like tomato, tomato? I don't know. Do you guys know? I don't know. Is it peony or peony? Anybody know? Any of my friends out there know? Okay. Well, if you know, please let me know. All right, friend. Now, like I said, hopefully this is all spelled right. Let me hold it up, make sure I got it straight. All right. Looks pretty straight to me. All right, let me show you, my friends. Let me put the cap back on my glue. Voila! Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So we've added a little element to really give it some interest. We added the clay word, which gives it a more 3D a 3D look. And you want to make sure the edges. Oh, who knows? They're both right. All right. So it is kind of like tomato, tomato. All right. You want to make sure those edges are all pressed down real well on your clay elements. And so it just adds a little bit of interest into your artwork. So, all right, friends, I think we're going to wait till next weekend to, we'll decoupage on a piece of decoupage paper here, or maybe a transfer. We'll see once this is all dry. So we'll do that next weekend. We'll give it a paint color next weekend, and we'll paint the words. I will finish coloring in and painting in the peony. So you will see that all done. And then we'll give it one final protective coat of white wax. And then your piece will be finished. Now, on your piece, you could certainly add other embellishments, right? So if you're someone that really likes ribbons and things like that, you could, add some ribbon up here at the top in a bow, right? That would be cute to add some ribbon. Oh, it's upside down. Let me put it right side up. Some ribbon. You can certainly add that. They do have out for the springtime this metal ribbon, which is so cool. Let me open that up. This metal ribbon, which if you wanted to, you could almost edge your painting in this metal ribbon. So if you wanted to use metal ribbon, you could make sure you kept your painting away from it, but that would be cute. So there's lots of different ways that you can embellish your artwork, and I just got stuff on it, but that's okay because it's waxed. So lots of good things to do with that. Here's what we did today. We took Dixie Belle chalk paint and we made watercolors out of it. And we used the honky tonk red and the soft pink and created all that different layers and interest. We used 2 shades of green. Trying to figure out how this camera works. 2 shades of green for our leaf there. We used an IOD stamp in the peony. We created peony word and the frame using the IOD clay and molds. I hope you guys had some fun. I had fun. I really appreciate you guys joining me to do this together. It's a lot of fun to create and craft together. So next weekend we'll finish this up, and then we'll have another great project. And then stay tuned for some good projects coming with our new stencil stuff. So our new stencil products will have some great projects to come with that too. So, all right, my friends, I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. And hopefully we'll see you in shop so you can say hello. But if you're just catching this, make sure you hit #replay. And then like and follow so you can get notifications of when I go live, because I do go live to share new products in our store, besides just our crafting day on Saturday at 4 o'clock. All right, my friends. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Take care. Thanks again for coming. Enjoy. Bye, friends.
Is that a hard time finding the mouse?
It's right there. You did on this. Oh, there you go.